This is breaking news. Capital One officially owns Discover Bank. This merger just changed everything. Your account, your rewards, your fees. And if you're not prepared, it could cost you big time. In case you've been living under a rock, Capital One just closed a $35 billion deal to acquire Discover Bank. This makes them the largest credit card issuer in America, bigger than Chase and bigger than Amex. But here's the thing, this isn't just a power move on Wall Street. This affects you, the everyday cardholder, in more ways than you think. So I'm gonna break this video down into 4 very important parts that you do not want to miss. But before we get into this video, make sure to comment hell no if you think this merger is a bad idea. Now let's get into it. Part 1, so what just happened? It's official, Capital One now owns Discover, including its credit card customer base, 90 plus billion in loans, and most importantly, its payment network. And that's massive because Discover wasn't just a card brand, it's also its own processing network like Visa or MasterCard. So this gives Capital One an end-to-end control issuing and processing. They just went from big player to a credit card empire. So the big question is, what's not changing yet? Understand, your Discover card still works. Nothing's gonna change with that as of yet. And also understand, your Capital One account is also unchanged as of yet. And most importantly, for anybody out there that has a reward system, your rewards program stays intact for now. But don't get comfortable. The integration is coming, and when it does, here's what could change. Your card terms for all of your credit cards that you have with them. Your reward structure for all of the reward systems, whether it be points or miles or cash back. And the craziest one of all is your APRs and fees. It's gonna be interesting to see if they're gonna maintain the APRs where they're at, jack them up, or lower them. We don't know yet. The customer service experience you're used to. Listen, I have both credit cards. I have a Capital One and I have Discover cards. Discover's customer service is elite. The only one that goes up against it, honestly, is Amex. And I'm concerned that this might get worse. So, and if you think the companies don't use mergers to quietly adjust terms, think again. So this is kind of similar to something I saw, I think it was last year when there was a merger with another credit card company. That credit card just got completely shut off for me. I had no idea until I noticed it on my credit report literally last week. I was like, yo, I didn't even notice they closed that credit card. Okay, well, I guess they're gone. So now moving on to part number 2. This is a huge one. What's coming in the next 6 to 12 months? Because nobody else is talking about this. Everyone's like they're scared to even tell you what could potentially happen. But no, we need to be prepared. Number 1, you want to monitor your terms closely. Now, this is a really big one because this is where things sneak in and people don't pay attention. Then they're like, what happened? Exactly like what happened to me with that other credit card. Expect emails with fine print, rate hikes, new fees, and changes to perks that can all be buried in legalese. It's really difficult to read all these terms and conditions, but this is the time when you need to pay attention because so many things can get snuck in there that you weren't aware of. And then you might be like, I mean, this credit card's not worth it anymore. Just keeping it real with you. Now this next one, watch out for account migrations. This happened to me with another credit card. Discover could eventually be reissued as Capital One cards, which might affect your credit history if not done carefully. Now they need to switch the product out, not close the account and give you a new account. We don't want a reissued account. We want them to switch the product out into a Capital One card with the Discover logo. It's gonna be interesting to see how that works out. We don't know yet, but we're just speculating and I need to prepare you. Now, number 3, diversify your credit portfolio because if your main card is Discover or Capital One, it's time to apply for an alternative, preferably with a different network like Visa or Amex, because if they do close that account, it may have a negative impact on your credit profile if it was your oldest or main card, either one of those. So if you add a new credit product to your credit profile and they actually close that account, you won't have a negative impact because you're adding a new line of credit and a new credit limit and a new account to your credit profile. Now, it's gonna vary from person to person, so I just wanna give you the extra tip in case you may need it. And number 4, people never do this when there are these types of mergers because they're not very common. Everyone expects them to go so hunky-dory great, but download all your statements now. Don't wait. Download all of them as fast as you possibly can, because when the mergers happen, those statements could just disappear. So in case accounts are merged or dashboards change, keep digital records of your rewards, balances, and spending history, because if something happens to your account and it could potentially mess up your credit profile, you can dispute it directly with Capital One for your Discover account, because now they're merged. But do not, and I repeat, do not call them on the phone. Dispute it through paper mail, and you'll have your statements as proof if there are any discrepancies that they need to fix, because this protects your rights because of the Fair Credit Billing Act. They can't avoid it under any circumstances. When you call them, they can manipulate the entire system, because that does not trigger the Fair Credit Billing Act that protects you. That's the main reason why credit card companies want you to call in and dispute with them over the phone, because you don't have all those protections. It's a very sneaky thing that credit card companies do. I want to give a special shout out to all my beasters out there that are working hard to fix their credit using Dispute Beast, the most advanced AI credit repair software ever created, that comes with a 110% money back guarantee. But specifically to Jay, Jay's credit score went up 222 points after just one round with Dispute Beast. And Abdul's credit score went up 206 points after just one round with Dispute Beast. But let's not forget about Alexander. Alexander's credit score went up 211 points after just one round with Dispute Beast. Dispute Beast link is going to be in the video description and pinned at the top of the comments for anyone that needs to fix their credit. Now moving on to part number 3. What happens if you don't prepare? If you ignore this shift, here's what could go wrong. It's a pretty big list, okay? So pay attention. This is very important. You can get unwelcome surprises on your statement, like higher APRs, new fees. This is a big one right here. Loss of credit history. If your account is upgraded and reissued under a new product, it might impact your credit score. And then another one, which is what we don't want to see also, is service disruptions. As systems merge, call center wait times and dispute handling could get worse before they get better. So remember, dispute through snail mail. Write them a letter disputing it with your proof. And then the worst one of all, which I'm hoping it doesn't happen, reward devaluation. If Capital One streamlines the programs, you could see your points suddenly worth less, or your cash back disappeared. That happened with me with another credit card where my cash back just disappeared. I was like, yo, there was like $1,000 in cash back and now it's just gone. Yeah, that happened. So don't sleep on this. Everyone needs to understand that Capital One isn't just trying to grow, it's trying to dominate. Visa and MasterCard have been untouchable until now. By owning a payment network, Capital One is cutting out the middleman and keeping all of the transaction fees. And that's where they make money, from transaction fees. This is about control, data, and building a vertically integrated credit ecosystem. Translation, Capital One is becoming the Apple of credit cards and hardware and software. But the crazier part about this is the deal almost didn't happen, because Biden's DOJ was cold on big bank mergers. But once Trump returned to office, the tide shifted. And the Federal Reserve and the OCC approved the deal last month, but with a catch. Capital One has to fix Discover's past violations, like overcharging merchants for the past 16 years. Yeah, you heard me right. They were caught overcharging merchants for the last 16 years. But for consumers, there's no guarantee this will benefit you. Understand that. In fact, less competition almost always means fewer choices and worse terms. Last part's the most important. And here's the final part, part 4. What you should do, because if not, there's gonna be some crazy consequences if you don't. You should do this right now. Number 1, check both your Discover and Capital One accounts weekly. Look for notifications. There's usually like a little bell notification up in the corner or in the very bottom of the app or desktop. Pay attention to those. Make sure that you're paying attention to any emails they're gonna send you or any letters you may get in the mail. Number 2, call your issuer and ask if your card product is changing. So you can go out there and call them and ask them, like, listen, I know this merger is happening. Should I expect my card product to change to another product, or are we gonna be good right now? Number 3, apply for a backup card on a different network, because remember, if they do make that product change, then if you add a new one to your credit profile, this can help you. Now, it may potentially drop your age of credit, but sometimes it can offset it so it doesn't have a big impact on your credit profile if they do switch that product and close that account. And number 4, track your credit score and history using a FICO-based tracker, not Credit Karma. And number 5, the final one, set alerts for any APR or annual fee increases. You don't want to be the last one to know your card got reissued, or that your rewards changed, or your APR went up, or you got some hidden fees now that you had no idea about. I want everyone to understand this deal is truly historic. It could lead to innovation and more competition with Visa and MasterCard, or it could lead to higher fees, more consolidation, and less consumer protections. The only thing that's guaranteed is change is coming. So prepare now, protect your credit, and stay ahead of the game. And do me one last favor. Comment below, are you Team Discover or Team Capital One? And if you want to know the best credit cards to get in 2025, the ones that won't be affected by this deal, make sure to watch this video right here, and don't forget to subscribe to increase your credit score.